Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, back to another exciting episode of the Real Film Nerds Podcast. See it there? I got it that time pretty good, right, Mike?
Well, that was a little fast, but yeah, you got it pretty good.
Dude, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get it even faster, like the Micro Machine Man.
Oof, man, that's hard. That's really hard.
I'm working on it, but I can only do it for our intros. So I don't practice outside of work or outside of podcasts.
Is that so when you listen to the podcast on 2 or 2.5 times, it sounds more like the Micro Machine guy?
That and the Chipmunks.
Ah, yes. Okay. All right, cool.
So welcome, everyone. I am your host, Matt Hinshaw, in Prescott, Arizona.
Oh, come on, dude. That's too slow.
And with me, as you see in my retort, whooping my butt, metaphorically, mysterious Mike Talent.
Yes, mysterious Mike Talent is back.
Dude, I even changed your name on the website.
Awesome. Do I need to have a talent at realfilmnerds.com?
No, because then I'm going to have to freaking set one up. God damn it.
Oh, man. The talent so demanding.
It's fine. No one else emails us. So, it's just another email address I'd have to set up that no one would email us with their picks for movie of the year and podcast of the year.
Ooh, nice, dude. Nice segue there.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like a professionals.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Actually, I have had some votes, but I still haven't received one email yet. It's mainly just people at work and family and friends that have told me either through Facebook Messenger or texting or phone calls or in person. I still have not received an email.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll email you tomorrow.
Nice. But I'm still waiting on your picks for all the other categories, Mike. Although I've been slacking and I just now got to it myself today. So
yeah, I'll get to it this week. I do need to get to it this week because it's an important week. It's the sports ball finale. Some people call it the NFL.
There's a sports ball finale this week?
On Sunday is the bowl of the supers.
Oh, you mean the day they have all those ads that are really terrible and they fake us out by teasing a possible Big Lebowski sequel, and it's really just a really horrible Stella ad.
Yeah, yep. Could be that. I don't know. It's weird now because most of the ads come out before even the Super Bowl, so you can watch them in advance, which is weird because why do we want to watch ads?
Yeah. Well, I'm specifically pointing out how, I teased it on our Twitter and I teased it on our Facebook and how I was really hoping it was going to be a Big Lebowski sequel because that would have been freaking awesome. And no, it's a really stupid commercial.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sorry.
Everybody knows the dude still drinks White Russians. He will forever drink White Russians.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Got any milk?
Right. All right, so anyways, Mike, speaking of new films, I don't know how to segue into our review. This one is still up for possibly our awards that are coming up on February 14th, the first Poindexter Awards. It's a film that I've said, and I'm sure you've said as well, Mike, that most people have never heard of and probably never even knew about. Some people might know about the true story, but I doubt it. And that is Bomb City.
Yeah, Bomb City. Do you just want me to go into it?
Yeah, dude, go for it. Give us the rundown for Bomb City.
All right, so Bomb City was directed by Jameson Brooks, written by Jameson Brooks, starring Dave Davis, Glenn Morshower, Logan Huffman, Laura Lee Linklater, Eddie Hassel, Harry Knotts, and Dominic Ryan Gabriel.
Dude, you almost said Harry Nuts. I know you were thinking it, because that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I might have almost said Harry Nuts. A crime drama about the cultural version of a group of punk rockers in a conservative Texas town. Their ongoing battle with a rival, more affluent clique leads to a controversial hate crime that questions the morality of American justice.
All right, so Mike, I think we need to get to the most important topic of every single podcast. Well, most podcasts we do. I think we've missed a handful. But, Mr. Talent, what are you drinking tonight?
Oh, yeah. I am drinking a beer called High Lie, and it's White Oak High Lie by Cigar City Brewing.
Not Bomb City Brewing. All right. I wonder if there's Bomb City beers. That'd be a freaking great name.
Oh, I'm sure there's Bomb City beers. When I was visiting a different part of Texas, I was in Dallas. There was an area where they used to make bombs, I guess, or something. Maybe in Arlington or something. And there was breweries, and they'd like transformed it all. It was very hipstery. It was cool.
Mike, are you turning into a hipster?
Yeah, I've started axe throwing on the side.
Oh, dude, they just opened up one of those stupid things in Phoenix. I was like, I've been throwing axes, since I was like, 12 or 13 in the Boy Scouts. It's not that cool.
Yeah, but did you have on your lumberjack gear and man bun and your beard and stuff?
No. I couldn't grow a beard back then.
Well, then you haven't thrown a real axe, mister.
I had everything else, though.
Well, whatever.
See, you don't even have a retort to that. That's funny. Anyways. All right, Mike. Well, fine. I am drinking a staple of my refrigerator. I am drinking my typical Four Peaks Kilt Lifter.
Oh, I might not have said it's an IPA.
Oh, of
my
course.
Beer.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows that's all you drink now, beer snob.
Yep. I'm a bit of a beer nerd.
Beer nerd, my ass. You're a snob. If you're a beer nerd, you would drink all beers equally. But no, you have to drink IPAs.
I do drink other beers as long as they're IPA, double IPA, pale ale.
So, no. You are not a beer nerd. You are a beer snob.
No, man, I drink some sours and stouts and browns, and I drink everything. I'm an equal opportunity beer drinker.
Whatever. Quit lying. We all know the truth, Mike. You're a beer snob.
It's true.
All right,
back.
back.
Oldie for life.
What? Was that English?
Yeah, Old English, man.
Oh, Old English. OE for life is what you said?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. When was the last time you've even had an OE?
It's been a bit, but I still love it.
Liar.
No, I like Old E. I hate Steel Reserve. Ugh.
Oh, come on. What about Mickey's? Everybody loves the good old-fashioned Mickey's.
Oh, Mickey's is light, man. It's easy.
All right, then. Fine. Now that we've turned what are you drinking into 40 of the week.
Well,
So Bomb City, Mike, what'd you think of Bomb City? Did it go boom? There goes the dynamite?
So I hadn't heard about this movie at all, like you were saying earlier, Matt, and it was only because you had found this movie and wanted to review it. And is this a tributary, or is this a legacy?
It's a legacy because it wasn't done by any of the streaming services. It did have a theatrical release, but it was only the small film festival releases, and I believe it was mostly released in and around the Texas area, like I think it might have
Amarillo area where the it takes place.
Maybe, but I think like like there's a Dallas International Film Festival. I think it might have been released in that. I'm not 100% sure though.
Okay.
I could take a look. I do have the IMDb's. It was released in the Bend Film Festival, the Dallas International Film Festival, like I said, the Festival of Tolerance, the Louisville International Festival of Film, the Nashville Film Festival, the New Mexico Film Critics, Tallgrass International Film Festival. Those are all ones where they won awards. So, for this film.
Okay.
So, anyways, one thing right off the bat that I have a problem with is IMDb saying it's a crime drama. I like the last 30 minutes is a crime drama, I guess. For the most part, it's not a crime drama at all. It's more of a character study on these two different groups, or what the hell did we call them back in high school? Cliques.
Cliques. They called them cliques.
Two different cliques.
Social groups.
Right. And I thought that the punks, which are heavily featured obviously in the film, were in high school as well, but I guess they were not. Looking into it more, I think they were fresh out of high school kind of thing. Like they were 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds in that area. And then the other clique was clearly high school kids because they were all on a football team, the high school football team in Amarillo.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure about that either. I kind of thought the punks were a little older, but never was it really discussed. So I just rolled with it,
Right, yeah. It was never really discussed in the film because the main character, played by, who is that? That's Dave Davidson? No, Dave Davis.
Dave Davis, yeah.
Brian. He is not living at home with his parents. He is out on his own with, I think, a couple other people, or at least it makes it look like there's a couple other people living there. And it's almost kind of like this warehouse kind of concert venue thing, which for me is very reminiscent of back when we were in high school and there, people would get little areas to play around town and stuff. They weren't really living there, but they'd find little shacks or rent it for the night or whatever. I remember going to a handful of shows like that. Not punk shows, just, rock shows or whatever, but still.
Yeah. No, I kind of related with that. I thought that was pretty cool. I remember going to different little places and going to see shows and stuff.
So, Mike, what'd you think? Is it a good movie? Is it a bad movie?
No, I liked it. It was, it's kind of sad, and it reminded me a little bit of my brother, some of the punk stuff and things like that, and just, it poses a lot of great questions, and, it was an interesting story for sure, and how it turned out is also interesting, but it was somewhat predictable, and that was sad.
Well, I would say it's somewhat predictable, but not, because it turns itself on its head. I knew what the output was going into the film, so I wasn't surprised. My nephew, who was here celebrating his birthday over the weekend, you guys remember him from the Venom episode. He's obsessed with Venom. I had him watch this movie with me because I originally wanted to have him on this podcast, but time is a cruel mistress, and Mike and I did not get time to record it while he was still at my house, so whatever. But he was shocked and floored by this movie, and he thought it was fantastic and incredible, and he had some interesting points that I will bring up later on when we are in our spoiler part of the film. But he didn't know, and it blindsided him for sure. The final 45 minutes or so of the film. But for the most part, I like it. I like this film as a whole. The cinematography is okay. It's not anything crazy. It's not bad, but it's nothing earth-shattering. The acting, I do have to say, though, is kind of rough. But again, it is a small film, almost on the level of an independent. I think it might be an independent. I'm not sure. But
I thought Dave Davis did a really good job, the main character. But some of the other side characters were a little bit rough.
Yeah, some of the other guys, especially the guys that are in the football team, preppy guys, some of them were, it felt like overacting kind of thing. Like they were really kind of like trying to, inflate their chest and be, it didn't work for me. I think Davis did really, really well. I think for the most part, the Punk side did pretty well. There were a couple that were a little, not great, but they weren't awful.
Yeah, Dave Davis's brother wasn't. I don't know. His character was kind of strange, but
yeah.
I mean, I maybe that's how it was supposed to be, but it seemed he was a little. I don't know.
Well, and being his brother, they really didn't give us a whole lot of background on his brother, and his brother definitely was one of the more prominent characters. But you don't really understand. Does he live with his parents? Does he not live with his parents? Is he his older brother? Is he his younger brother? Like some of those weren't answered. They might have been. I just don't. At least I can't recall.
No, I didn't ever really pick up on which one was what or anything. How close they were or far. I guess they were pretty close. I mean, in age, I don't know.
Never
got it.
And then they both were clearly punks because he was ribbing him a little bit about having a shaved head and how that's like a Nazi thing, and he's like, well, not Nazi, white supremacist thing, and he's like, well, the punks have been doing it before the white supremacist kind of thing, and whatever. Who cares? But, there's clearly like they're close, but I don't know how close. And then there's like that other scene where they're working on that art installation of signs and things, and they're sitting there drinking beers. Then he like randomly has to go. So are they like living together at the concert venue thing, or are they just hanging out? Or I don't know. That never was quite answered. And I think that would have really helped with the character development of this film. But I do think they did flesh out Brian Davis's character quite well without that. But I just think it would have helped more.
Yeah. Did you like the going back and forth in time, the way that was done in the movie? I thought it was a little bit awkward sometimes.
It was awkward, and I think they did that. I don't want to talk about it yet until we get into the spoilers, but I think that was a part of their misdirection, and I think they orchestrated it well. But how they kept going, for like the bulk of the film, like the middle of the film, they stopped going forward in time. They just stayed back in time until after a certain event. And then it's now you're in present time. So it kind of hops all over and but it was strange how they did that for a while and then they stopped, and it was just like the history story.
Yeah. This movie somewhat, I mean, I know they're not really the same, but somewhat reminded me of SLC Punk.
Oh, yeah,
Salt
dude.
Lake City
Yeah.
Punk.
Yeah.
Not exactly the same at all, different stories, but just kind of these outliers, this outlying group of people and how they're treated and stuff. Kind of that's all. Not the stories are pretty much way different, but
right. But the tones are the same, and SLC Punk definitely does deal with the same thing, especially being punks in Salt Lake City in the 80s. They were clearly ostracized throughout the entire movie, but you don't see it as predominantly as you do in this film. Clearly, that's the main story of this, is the two cliques and them butting heads, where SLC Punk, in my opinion, is more about just the punks and their existence through this time of life until, a major event happens in that movie.
Right.
I would say SLC Punk is almost more like almost a coming of age kind of movie.
Yeah, I think it is. But it deals with some of the same subjects. So, yeah. I mean, for me, not that we see a lot of, I guess, punk type movies on the big screen. So, I just drew some parallels.
Yeah, no, it's definitely because I mean, I feel that the punks, out of all the more rock, heavy metal, alternative kind of genres of music, have always kind of been more ostracized than everyone else. Like, I don't know if it's just because of the way they dress or whatever, but I mean, metalheads, the mohawk isn't a punk only thing. I mean, you've seen mohawks on metalheads and you've seen, chains on metalheads and studded stuff, but punks take it to like another level, I guess you would say.
Yeah, it's more, I don't know, outrageous, more in your face. Like,
yeah, they take it to the extreme.
Yeah. But
being ostracized has always been kind of the whole hard rock metal thing, like forever. I mean, you and I even, I don't think you and I really went through it, but we were kind of known as like the metal guys, the rock guys. We always wore concert shirts. We always wore, stuff like that. We didn't have crazy hair. We didn't have, we had our chains and things like that, but, we also had jobs. So, back then, I mean, in the 90s, it was terrible to have visible tattoos and colored hair and stuff at your work, even if you worked at freaking McDonald's or Jack in the Box.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did have long hair, so I did kind of do that, but I didn't have, I didn't wear spikes or
But still,
anything.
I think long hair, even back then, was a heck of a lot more accepted than a giant, than even, coloring your hair. And I'm not saying coloring it for a day or two. I mean, permanently having it colored for a while.
Yeah.
So, anyways, all right, Mike. Well, I don't know how much more we could talk about this film without spoiling it. So, you know what? Let's do it. Mike, how does Bomb City relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
All right, so Bomb City relates in not the most direct way, but Glenn Morshower is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, dude, that works because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they have said Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, the Netflix shows is still a hardcore kind of gray area. They've said they're accepted, but they're not. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for sure is. There has been characters that have been in Marvel Cinematic movies that have appeared on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. Not main characters, but side characters have.
Okay.
So yeah, you got it. Well, you nailed it, man.
All right.
Good job.
Well, then let's spoil it, Matt. What do you want to talk about first?
So one of the things that Michael, my nephew, Lumberjack Mike, pointed out was how throughout the film, it's the biggest spoiler of the whole thing, but throughout the entire film, they make you think that the punks are the enemy, that the punks are the screw-ups, that the punks are the ones that are in the wrong, that the punks did something horrible. And then the end of the movie tells you the exact opposite. And that was one of the biggest things that impacted my nephew the most.
That's true. They did allude to the punks doing something bad through the back and forth trial snippets.
And I think that was fantastic storytelling because it's not only telling you or trying to make you think on your own that, oh, these clearly are the bad guys. It is the punks. It is these guys. It is the ones with the crazy hair. It is not the good kids. It is not the clique kids. It is not the football kids. They're the good rich kids that nothing ever can happen with them. Nothing will ever go wrong. The punks are the screw-ups. They're the ones that are getting arrested, even though that whole scene where they were getting arrested, I'd have to look up the laws, but I'm pretty sure that was 100% illegal. If that was private property, they are not allowed to kick down your door without a warrant. They are not, unless they have probable cause of a heinous crime that happened, then they can kick down your door. Spray painting some freaking walls is not probable cause to kick open someone's door.
Yeah, well, they saw the electrical panel, and I think they were going to use that as
stealing the electricity. I think that might even possibly be a federal crime, but I don't know. So, anyways, that was one thing that that my nephew pointed out that also to me was fascinating because it just makes you immediately throughout the whole thing, oh man, the punks are the enemies, the punks are the bad guys, and then you kind of get your own thing going in your own head about it. But I've never had an issue with punks. We really didn't have many when we were growing up, though, in school. Not that I remember.
I wouldn't say we had anybody like that. We had a bunch of trench coat kids, but this is before Columbine.
Yeah, and they all called themselves vampires. You remember?
Yes.
But
yes.
I never had a problem with them. They were just weird. And I was like, fine, you do whatever you got to do. Just, I even actually had that one kid. I don't remember his name. The blonde kid that was real crazy. He was actually one of my lab partners in chemistry.
Nice. I used to go sit with them at lunch sometimes. I would sit with, that was pretty weird. I would go sit with different groups of people all the time at lunch. Every day I'd sit with a different group.
Yeah, well, I always had my group, man, because you had a different lunch than I did.
Always.
Yep. And so there was always like, I don't know how we swung it. I think it was because I had photo that hour or something. But it was like me and Ivan and Wyatt and Aaron always sat together at the same table.
Yeah, no, I always, because I never had any of you guys in my lunches and stuff. I went and sat at different people's tables and I sat with everybody. Weird.
The one that killed me though was how you and I never had classes together. We'd have classes at like the same class, like the same period, but we never had classes together. I hated that.
Yeah, man, that was the brilliance of the whatever those block class things are and alphabetization.
Yeah, dude, it was all based on what your last name's first initial was. That was such bullshit. Anyways, get back on Bomb City.
Yeah, Bomb City. Woo.
I don't know, Mike. Do you want to spoil the biggest plot point of this, or no?
No, I don't think we should. One thing I will say about the movie, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but not too bad, was there's kind of an intro and an outro by a famous character or famous person, and I didn't realize who it was until the end, and I thought that was pretty cool. And that was Marilyn Manson.
Well, and I think those are taken from clips that I don't know if they're related to this movie or not, but that might just be newsreel clips of him talking about this particular event that happened.
Yeah, it might be, or it might have been done for the movie. I don't know. I did see that they thanked him at the end.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. Because he's a real smart guy, even though he's I'm sure a lot of people don't think he is. He's very, very intelligent. So.
Well, that's one of the stigmas that, and I know you agree with me, Mike, because you're a metalhead as well. A lot of the metalheads and metal bands, everybody just thinks they just yell into a microphone. It's a lot more complicated than that. They're a lot smarter than you would ever let on. I mean, honestly, not to bring up, but one of our currently in the running for our listeners' movie of the year, Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, Queen, they were, rock / alternative back in the day. And I mean, a lot of their members, are extremely intelligent people.
Oh yeah. I mean, he even points it out in the movie. He was like, "Oh, you were like a physics major and you were like something else." And
yeah, there's physics and engineering and all kinds of stuff. But again, that's what this movie is trying to do, is trying to get rid of these stereotypes, get rid of these stigmas, and tell this true story, a very tragic story that happened because of these freaking stigmas and judgmental. And I mean, I was floored when I saw the date on it. I thought for sure it took place in like the 80s or maybe early 90s, but it was 99. I mean, it was our junior / senior year of high school.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And the sad part is I don't remember anything about this, so this was kept pretty quiet, I guess.
I remember hearing very minuscule stuff about it. But again, Mike, at 17, 18 years old, how much news were you really watching anyways? I was too busy trying to chase girls, work, and go to apply for colleges.
Oh, yeah. You got a good point. We were busy with our own high school lives.
Yeah, it's madness, especially that those last couple years of high school, at least for me, and I know probably for you too, were madness. It was just, never ending stuff that you had to do.
Yeah. I remember senior year was a lot. I was the only idiot who took all the hard classes, but
that's not true. I took all the hard classes too.
Well, me and you were the only idiots who took all the hard classes.
Dude, I wanted to go to a 4-year university. Granted, I did take the teacher's aide for Senior Tomoka. That was about the easiest class I had, and I took 1 or 2 photo classes, but I still took, I took a science, I took pre-calc, I took, whatever the English you had to take, and anyways.
Yeah.
No, you and I, we were like, no, we're going to 4-year universities right out of high school. And shit, you remember Wyatt. Wyatt barely took enough credits to just be a student. He took like 1 or 2 classes?
He took 2.
Yeah.
He took 2 classes at university or at the community college and then 2 at the high school.
Yeah. He had...
Because that was the minimum he could do and still be qualified to be a student.
Right. But he never had an intention of going to a 4-year university. And I don't remember if he talked about going in the military. I thought he was just going to go to the community college. I don't remember. But somehow that, ended up him going into the Air Force. And now, I haven't heard from him pretty much since. So who knows?
Yeah. I definitely don't think his plans were for the military. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Back to Bomb City.
Yeah.
So Matt, without giving away the main plot point, what do you give your rating for Bomb City?
Like I said, I really did enjoy this movie. Granted, the majority of it is because it's a true story, and the majority of it is because of the story. Being a true story, it adds only more to it. But for the most part, I think it was told very well. Like I said, the acting wasn't the best in the world. It wasn't awful, though. I've seen a hell of a lot worse. That was one of the little hiccups. The cinematography was not awful. It was good. The sound was good. I especially liked the punk bands and stuff. I'm sure that they played whatever or had whatever songs they had because they couldn't get the more popular stuff, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't need that. Everybody knows what punk sounds like. But overall, I enjoyed this movie. Granted, it's sad and it's dark and it's messed up. But again, I put a lot of weight behind the story of a film, especially a film that impacts people. I think everybody should see this movie if they can. I give it 4 out of 5 reels. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was great.
Damn it, Matt.
No.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 reels, and I don't think we mentioned earlier. You can stream this on Amazon Prime right now, for free.
Yeah, if you have Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Part of your Prime membership.
Yeah, dude, it's a great movie. It really is. It's it's rough around the edges, but for the most part, it's fantastic. And I hate to say it, but the story is what makes it.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie. It really is good. So I would definitely recommend seeing it. If you can watch it on Prime. If you don't have Prime, find a login. I don't know. I would recommend seeing it. I like this movie.
Or email Mike or I, and we will give you our login.
Oh no. That's not a thing, people. He's joking.
No. Email Mike Talent at realfilmnerds.com.
All right.
No, dude, they're not going to email us. It's fine.
All right. Okay. Well, with that, Matt,
I don't have anything else other than people, you are down to 15 days to vote in our Listener Choice Awards, I guess you would say, for, the past Real Film Nerds year. of Movie of the Year and Podcast of the Year. We have had a handful of votes. I'll say it's not more than 20, but we have had votes. So
awesome.
I think probably what I'll do is probably when it gets closer and closer to the 14th, I'm probably going to throw up a poll on Facebook to see if we get more votes. But just email us, tell us, text us, call us, Facebook message us, whatever. Give us your votes, people. We want your votes.
Yeah, man. We definitely want the votes. We want to hear from you. And I guess on that note, I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, so I'm just going to leave it open, and we'll catch you next time.
You forgot thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now, go out and catch a movie.